Please, this is not to while away the time. I want to know where you guys are joining in from. Lekki, Lagos. Thank you. Adeola. Who else? Who else? Delta. Thank you. Thank you. Where are our diaspora people? Where are our diaspora people? So we have Akwa Ibom, we have Ikeja. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Admin, please spotlight my guests. So this evening, we are discussing rebuilding trust after infidelity in marriage. Blessing, do you have something to say about this the topic we are treating?
Hey, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, everyone. Beautiful and amazing. Yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us today in the family meeting. About when we talk about infidelity, it's one of the most threatening topic when it comes to when we talk about dealing with marriages and couples. And I'm so excited that we are talking about this today. I had to put it on my Facebook page. I have to people come join and ask those bugging questions. Most times people have these issues and they are unable to talk about it. Those that can voice it are handling it wrongly. But we are so blessed this evening that we have the Odogu of family systems in the house. We have Dr. Akinola here. We have the coach Adeola, wonderful to this to understand. So I'm sure men go through this infidelity, but they don't know how to handle it. A lot of marriages really started well, been dissolved, destroyed because they are unable to handle recovery after infidelity. So I want to say much. I just want to leave our guests to do this. And in case you're joining us and you don't, I just want to talk it's just a little about them. Dr. Akinropo, our first guest here, is none other than a phenomenal coach, a lead in relationships, them and their families. He's been featured on work as a model of law and they want to see in their homes. Can you imagine who we are having with us today? And again, we have Doom, the Odo of family stems, not to be for his incredible work in coaching fathers to lead their families and raise wholesome children. We talk about infidelity. The children are also affected when it comes to infidelity in marriage. So, and we have Nedum here who will be also shedding lights and knowledge when it comes to that aspect. And we have Adeola Kingsley James, the incredible coach, a relationship coach whose wisdom is as refreshing as it is empowering. So I'll yield the floor to them, ma'am, because I'm here to learn as well. And I know everyone who is tuned in for tonight's family meeting will go home excited and thrilled that they joined in.
Thank you very much, Blessing, for that short introduction. I'm just going to be adding the tomato and the atarudo and the shogun to some of the things they'll be saying. For the Odogu of family, we call him Umarapa. You will know the reason this evening. I love Uncle Nedu's simplicity and authenticity in handling family issues. And at times I look at him, I look at Dima's status and I'm like, if we can have 10 of Akodedum's kind in men, have them, let's have them sprinkled all over the world. I think 10, or maybe let me say 20, will be enough because of the ripple effect of what he'll be doing and what they'll be saying in their environment. So, guys, fasten your seatbelt. You're going to enjoy it. And for Adeola, Adeola operates from another another level. I'm sure you're not ready. You're not just ready, guys. You're not just ready because this evening is going to be an amazing one. And Mr. Akinropo, the reason why I have Mr. Akinropo on this group is Mr. Akinropo have the old time method and he knows how to blend it, that balance and the authenticity in presenting the balance is what I admire most about Mr. Akinropo. So I'm going to start with the women, the female in our midst, that is Adeola. Adiola, what does infidelity means to you? So we say that it is the women that suffer infidelity. Oh, they are the ones that are beaten. Adiola, what do you think infidelity is? Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm so grateful to be here. All the extra titles that I've been given today, operating from a different space. Blessing says I'm a relationship coach. I collect all of them and add to my portmanteau. I'm really, really excited to be here. It's been a really long day, but I'm always grateful to serve. And to my gentlemen here, I can't wait to learn from everybody who's here. And so straight to the question, infidelity to Adeola is the act of breaking the trust and, should I say, the boundaries of an intimate relationship. Most times is around emotional, physical connections outside the agreed upon terms of that partnership. So there has to be an agreement that is broken for me. Then I can call it infidelity. If there's no agreed upon terms and there are no expectations on the agreement within the relationship, then it's not infidelity.
Adiola, so you are saying that I'm supposed to have an agreement. You're supposed to talk about this thing. So if he goes ahead and do it, then he has not broken anything.
So the reason why I say that is because I like to use myself as an example. Okay. I had a past relationship, and it was leading to marriage. I actually thought that I was going to marry him, by the way, because we dated for a bit. And I was having a conversation with somebody, and the person said to me, "Have you discussed what monogamy means to you?" Right? Because our understanding of monogamy is we just believe, especially as Christians, because you don't have monogamy amongst Muslims, even if some of them decide to be monogamous. So predominantly, I'm talking about a Christian relationship. We assume that monogamy means you cannot sleep with another woman. I've heard, in fact, last week, a client of mine said her husband told her, "I promised you I will not marry another woman. I never said I will not sleep with another woman." Okay, so Dr. Aki, you're going to, that's exactly what she said. So to him, monogamy meant I will not marry another woman. Monogamy did not mean I will not sleep with another woman. Now, if they had had that conversation from the beginning, she will understand his meaning of monogamy and see that their meanings differ. And then they can have that conversation for her to then say, "No, my own monogamy means you cannot even sleep with any other woman at all." So the guy says he's justified by him having another girlfriend because he's not married to her and she's got to deal with it. So it's either she stays in or she stays out. So once again, there has to be an agreement on the kind of relationship that we want to have, that stepping out of it then becomes
an issue.
That's my answer to that, ma.
Thank you very much. Odogu.
Okay, thank you for having me, and much grace to Center of Sex for putting such a wonderful program like this. Infidelity is as old as human nature, exists with different cultures and different faiths, and it's something we are going to live with as long as there's human being. And for me, infidelity is the being unfaithful and disloyal to the agreement between two parties, that's a husband and a wife, and also understanding how each culture affects the infidelity, which is not just only physical infidelity, it could also be emotional in the sense that there was no sleeping, but again, the partner is having romantic feelings, chatting, you know, having deep feelings that was supposed to only be for your partner with somebody, but there was actually no sleeping. It could also be financial infidelity, whereby a spouse is lying, hiding some vital information from the partner, either through spending, investments, or debts. And it could also be that somebody is flirting and sexting with another person other than the partner. And so for me, infidelity is beyond the very act of sleeping with other. It's a violation of the vow agreement, what is meant for two people, or depending on the religion, what is meant for a group of people, whereby the faith says a man can marry one or two women. There's beyond the normal boundaries of that faith, that agreement, and also how they want to live together as a family. Because sometimes when we look at infidelity to mean only what is covered by vow and agreement, women beings are so smart. They are so smart in the sense that they can see loopholes and then capitalize on that. So there was one who said, let the married bed be non-defined, that he did not sleep on the married bed, he slept in a hotel. And so he did not break the holy matrimony, that sanctity of the bed. It was another bed. So people are very cunning to, have a kind of violation. But again, we know that we have betrayed our partner who we share something deep that we can't share with other people. And so for me, that's what I think infidelity collectively encompasses here.
Collectively, I love the word collectively because you brought in the financial infidelity. So for that financial infidelity, does it mean that I want to give my family member money? I have to tell before I give. Is that what financial infidelity means?
No, definitely. It has nothing to do with a little kind of expenses that you have to do for the people you care, for your friends. But when you have something like deep borrowing, whereby your partner does not know, and it can throw the whole family into a chaos and make them dysfunctioning in the way they could enjoy life, buying of or investing huge amounts of money, maybe buying building in bonds or investing in different kind of things that when your partner hears about, it's like, are we in this together? There's that question of, do we even belong together? Not just for now, for the future. There's a reason why a partner doubts who you are and what you are to him or her, because it's not something you can just say you forgot. It's something you just, how would I say, went out and just make a purchase. It's something huge. And so there are some people who will not forgive for that. There's people who will not give your heart or mind into that relationship again just because you violated some. It's not written anyway, but again, it shows that we don't belong together in the same cause.
Okay, so this give me that understanding, because you also start with agreement, this loyalty to an agreement. So this is where what Adeola also is talking about, that there must be an agreement on ground before you say I violate something, right? So if we say money spending, it must be, are we in this together? We must be in it together. So if there's no agreement like that, there's no infidelity. How are you saying?
Not really, because, I say human beings are so smart. And
Yeah.
there's no way of agreement that can cover the entirety of human existence. But, when you are spending life together with a person, there's a moral betray of what that person thinks we hold together as husband and wife or as a union. And we are looking forward to be accountable to each other beyond that agreement and that vow we took. In fact, one of the said, to spend my life together with you. So it involves everything that human life entails. And so I always feel that when people base it on a vow, on agreement, it has many loopholes. But there's that moral code, that belief that we have something much more than what is just written and much what is just agreed. Because agreement is just let there be an evidence of such a conversation happen. So it's the belief that I trust you to be accountable to the system we have agreed, and also be willing to be open and honest in everything you do about life.
Thank you very much. Mr. Akinropo, do you have something different to say? Let me hear your own perspective about
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bulomo. First off, I don't know where Blessing got the idea that, that she had to add a doctoral degree to my name.
to you. Honorary. We are giving you. It's honorary.
Receive it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. So now, I think I will take my submission or analysis or explanation just from where Queen Trilonia started. You know, when she was making reference to that area, like, that statement actually struck a chord, within me. And that was why I was nodding in affirmation of that. Okay, so I think the infidelity before now, or before we came into it, before we started to study it in case, where to give advice to people, that are involved, or anyone that is really, pained in that arrangement. We used to think infidelity happened in marriage when a man or a woman sleeps, or defiled the bed, sleep with another man or another woman. That has been what was given unto us, that the infidelity is, but as researchers, move ahead, we started to discover that goes beyond that, goes beyond that. And that is why, infidelity happens as, let me put it this way, existence or confirmation of deal breakers. That to me is infidelity. So deal breakers, you don't share the same values together. You don't share the same visions together, vision together. You don't share, personality trait, or you may not share personality trait, but there is this misaligned. You don't even understand yourself, how you are going to accommodate, somebody says a trait, different from your own. And when all those things begin to happen in marriage, to me, it's infidelity. It's not about, the sexual or the sexual part of it, defiling the bed. So that is why when Kutrilonia started to mention that, somebody said, have you guys spoken or talked about what infidelity means? It's something I've heard before. Okay, when I got married in 2003, you have these uncles around you. They will always tell you that whatever you want to do, just make sure that you are wise about it. I know people like you now. The man was advising me, people like you, it is one wife. The marriage is just one wife. You don't want to do, but see, let me just tell you, this is our culture. I'm not saying you should marry a second wife, but, just to spice yourself up, you can still have, girlfriend like that. You are not marrying, so you've not really broken anything. I tell you, this man put that thing in my head, that to me then, infidelity means marrying a second wife. So even if you have a girlfriend, you have not really defiled the bed, you have not really broken the vow of the marriage. So then, anytime I went out and I just came back, I'm always like, at the initial, stage of the marriage, just take it easy. Just say, don't worry, Nama. It is you. And the next question will not be, oh, it is me. I know, but I don't know. There's nothing like that. So when we discussed that over and over again, that was when what that man, spoke to my head, started reverberating, and I started giving it a thought that, oh, this is what this man was talking about. And I had to open to my wife, right, that, this uncle, this is something he said about this, about it. And I said, that, what has been my own opinion? I said, my own opinion is, negated. The man's opinion negated what the Bible spoke about and what I actually promised. So if you can't do it, then I can't do it, right? So that was why when she was saying it, actually, that thing actually struck a chord within me. But in actual sense, right, to me, infidelity means existence or confirmation of deal breakers. Before the marriage, you guys will have to talk about everything. What can actually truncate the marriage, truncate the relationship, what you would not ordinarily take. I have a friend who told her husband, her boyfriend then, and that has been, the strong point that is binding them together. My friend told the guy, then when I was still in the banking industry, 2002, this lady told her boyfriend then that if I catch you do this, I will do it 10 times. Just let it be known to you. I am telling you now, this lady went to the extent of even telling the parents, because the father of the boyfriend then asked that my friend, perhaps that was the first time I heard the word deal breaker. The father asked, my dear, how you doing? Can I know your deal breakers? And the lady said, oh, daddy, well, I've told my guy, if he does this, I will do it 10 times. And they looked at the son, but you've heard what your girlfriend said. And that has been, they've been married now for 21, 22, they will be 22 in April. So, and that has been the stronger point that has, brought the marriage together. And that is one of the deal breakers, and they don't want to break that. So to me, that is just it, because I want everybody to believe in what they want to discuss about. The deal breakers, take care of your part, and I take care of my part. That is just like what Mr. Nedum said, that is emotional infidelity. All those things are there, even values infidelity, vision infidelity. What I believe in, you don't believe in it. You are doing your own, and that's why we have division. Two divisions, fusing together or causing separation in the family. That's my submission.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akinropo. So, Blessing, I don't know if you have anything to say before I ask this question.
Thank you very much. So far, I believe everyone in this call has learned a lot, because when we talk about infidelity, we just look at the aspects of the acts. But now, from all that the guests have spoken, we've gotten to know the different kinds of infidelity, and the fact that you have to define. When we talk about the stages, the talking stage, when you define, you get to know what you want and spell it out. Like, Adeola said something when she started on by saying, knowing what, defining it, not just saying, okay, why are we this? We are married. You have to define, we are married. This is the aspect. For me, this is what I stand against. Not getting into marriage and thinking, okay, he's not going to marry another person, and later on this act happen and you're thrown off balance. So we have gotten to know, now we know what to discuss for those who are, for instance, those that are in this call, in this meeting, who are not married, to get to know what to ask, the necessity, why it's necessary for you to talk about this infidelity aspects and their view. Doctor just talked about the standpoint of what a third party told him when he got married. So you need to understand all of these. And I'm just taking note of all these things, because when you're just discussing, one will not just say, oh, this happened. What is your knowledge about infidelity? What aspects? Is it the emotional? Is it the act itself? Or is it meeting another? Is it finance? What aspects are you experiencing these? So for me, I know that everyone else will have questions. So please, if you have any question, put it in the comments, because as the speakers are going on, we'll be answering and treating some of these questions. Not just the trust aspect, but we need to understand how it happens, where you are missing out, and what you ought to do before it gets to the stage that everything is completely destroyed. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, Blessing. Thank you very much, Blessing. Yeah, I know that some people are here because you're probably experiencing something like this, or you know somebody going through something like this, and you're here to learn on their behalf, or you're here to learn for yourself. These are probing questions. Were there agreements? Do you understand what deal breakers were before you even entered marriage? Because I was telling somebody that, see, that age of 20 something that we get married, I don't think that's the age we're supposed to be getting married. We just enter into trouble. We don't even know who we are. We just went into it and caused trouble for ourselves. And the ones that are still there are still trying to manage and still trying to, just trying to patch it. And before you are 40 or 50, if care is not taken, you are worn out, right? So there are a lot of things that we need to understand about marriage. And this is why we have the conversation here. On the Sunshine Hub community this morning, we're talking about this topic. And I remember saying that I have a friend who will always say that infidelity is not an issue for her to leave her marriage. There are women who say that. Adeola, I just want to throw this question to you because you are the woman. I know that your perspective about life, about marriage is different, but I want you to respond to this question from the lens of the women you work with, women that you know that are friends, that are not operating at your own dimension of understanding, to say that why is it that women stress themselves with this? I know it's a lot, but why? Why do we have to go through that pain? When some
So
other
I
women
don't,
are saying,
what's
what?
the question? What's the question? Why do we stress ourselves about what?
On yes. Why some women are saying infidelity is not a deal breaker for me. It's not enough for me to leave my husband. Why some other women want to kill themselves to say, no, I will kill you and kill myself. You know,
I think that the answer to that would be our upbringing. I know of people who have grown up in polygamous homes and they don't see anything wrong with polygamy or their husbands sleeping with other people. I know of people who have grown up hearing all their lives that all men cheat, right? And so they have that at the back of their minds that there's no man that does not cheat. So, I know of people who have their mothers who have said to them, look, if you are unhappy 18 years, me, I've been unhappy 42 years. So your own unhappiness has just started. So relax, sit down and tie that unhappy wrapper properly and enjoy it. Right? Like Rocco said, he had an uncle who said, I know of people who they went to go and report to their father that my husband is sleeping around, and the father called the husband and said, don't you know of read and delete, rap or rad? They even have a title for it, read and delete, rad. So I'm like, what does that mean? Is read and delete? That's the father telling the husband of his child that, don't you know that you shouldn't keep incriminating stuff on your phone? When you have all these kind of things, delete it. Don't take you home. Thanks to WhatsApp now that you can have your messages delete on its own every day and you don't have to go through the stress of doing that. So it will be different things. There's no one answer to it. It will be different things to different people. Some people have seen their mothers and their fathers alone and they believe, no, it's only going to be me and my dad. Some people, it's different things. So the ones that say, oh, if my husband cheats is not a big deal, ask them what formed that opinion. You find out that it's nature and nurture, right? If you say, ask the ones who also want to kill themselves, there also a same thing, nature and nurture, because there's a lot of insecurities. It goes back to the childhood of because we personalize infidelity, right? It affects us, our self-worth. So it stops being about what the other person does and starts to be about how I feel about it. and what it is about me that is lacking. Because that's what infidelity is not a reflection of the betrayed partner's shortcomings. It's not, right? It's not a clear indicator that also that the relationship will be over. Rather, most times it's a symptom of deeper unmet needs or conflicts. So if you look at it from that point again, it's not that, you know, it's not going to break anything. I mean, our hearts don't break, but the feeling or the effect of it is that. However, the depth of how we internalize it and personalize it is where the major challenge is. Right? And most times there's that deep betrayal. And the truth also is that deep betrayal, a lot of times, has also come from a deep betrayal that has happened in your past. So there's a lot tied to the feeling that you receive or you have when somebody goes and breaks this trust, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, or whether it's digital, because there's the digital part as well, where you're sending messages in those 4 areas. What you're looking at is, what do I then say? What does this act now mean about me? So when we personalize it, it now means, oh, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not tall enough. Maybe I'm not short enough. Maybe I'm not fine enough. Maybe I don't cook well enough. But what about people who are married to princesses who have everything and still cheat? So it's not about you. It's not about a shortcoming that you have or a lack that you have. As a woman, most times we internalize it and say there's something. I mean, I've heard women say, my husband is cheating because I am not doing XYZ. And so they personalize it and believe that, okay, maybe if I just have a boy, maybe if I have twins, maybe if I wash his clothes cleaner, maybe, and so you're consistently, but at the depth of it, you're actually looking for your father's love in this man. And because you didn't get it from your father, you're hoping that this man is going to give it to you, but he doesn't even have the capacity for it. And I don't personally believe that people who sleep around are bad people. I feel like there's a deep loss and a deep dent in them that they believe that everybody they sleep with will fill up a little part of that hole. And that's why they're spreading themselves thin, because they sleep with one and realize, okay, I'm still empty. Then they sleep with another, I'm still empty, because what they're looking for on the outside does not exist. So women need to, first of all, remove themselves from the incident. I will never hold myself responsible for anything if my husband does whatever, because my husband is an adult and he can choose to do whatever he wants to do. If there was a challenge and he refused to have a conversation with me and he decided to go and do whatever he wants to do, that's not on me. It has nothing to do with what I did or what I didn't do. It was a choice and it's his choice. And so I separate myself from it. However, that's because I've worked on myself enough, because at some point my self-esteem was tied to my husband's wrapper. And whatever he felt about me is how I felt for myself. If he was sweet with me, I was sweet with myself, because I didn't believe that I had anything great going on. And so I needed him to keep validating me to tell me that, oh, you're great. And so when he doesn't say you're great, forgetting that even him does not even feel great when he's not saying it or not even knowing, right? Because we assume that this other person is seeing you when actually you don't even exist in their presence at that time, because they have other things they're thinking about. So I'm using myself as an example to the fact that if my husband had then said something at that time, it would have affected me so much. If he had gone to go and sleep with anybody at that time and I found out, oh my goodness, I would have almost removed my teeth, because I would have thought there was something I wasn't doing, because my essence was tied to him. So when I took my essence back and put it back in my pocket where it exists and where it belongs, it stopped being about whatever he felt about me, even if what he feels about me is great, but it started to be about how I felt about myself the more. And I wanted to fill that up to overflowing. So whatever comes from him or anybody else is an extra, not touching the one that I give to myself. So for women out there who have become very insecure and lost their self-worth and self-esteem and confidence, because I've heard women say, oh, I'm a shadow of myself, and you keep going back to your to the perpetrator, the person that is hurting you. You keep going back, hoping this person that is hurting you will finally stop hurting you. It's not going to work. So whether you decide to go or you decide to stay, the first thing you want to do is look at your self-worth and your self-esteem. And if you feel like there's something lacking there and it's tied to what your husband thinks all the time, then there's a void and that you need to work on. That's not on him, that's on you.
Thank you very much, Adeola. I was going to stop you to say we're still coming. We'll
Right.
come to this angle of the conversation, because one of the objectives of this meeting and this topic tonight is to help women build their confidence. It's to help women know that if you don't know who you are, then you'll be living your life on the dictates of some other person's interpretation of who you are. And your life will just be going down the drain. And this is why we have women, and like Adeola said, women go about sulking, crying, they just demoralize themselves because they say their husband is cheating, their husband. And so I love where we started this conversation, because I was going to ask, when Adeola said it, were there an agreement, or you just assume that it is only you? And so it is only you should be looking at. I think it was Akinropo, or was it Adeola that said that? He did not say he would not sleep with another person. He said he will marry only you. These are realities. They're so funny, but thinking about it, how many of us had that conversation? And why are we fighting? Right? And so there's some things we need to start. PF will say, ask questions. We need to start asking questions. You need to start processing and stop living on what society is telling. We're just on autopilot of what things should be like, without stepping back to even think, to say, okay, what exactly do I want for myself, away from what the society is dictating. So at this point, I want to ask the men in the room, what are those things that actually make the men? We all know that it is now that we are realizing that it's only the men that also cheat. So
I was going to
women
say,
also cheat. So in fact, we are beginning to see the number of women that is so high, but because men don't talk, we are shad, hitting their head with hammer and making these men just go down the mob. But I'm glad that we are having a level of awareness when it comes to understanding the way the men think or the way the men do things. I want to ask that question, Mr. Odogu. Why do you think some men do this thing? And so a lady shared on the Sunshine Hub community to say she was very vulnerable. She used to be very vulnerable with her husband. And she just discovered that her husband will do that thing and still come and rub it on her face. Like, you're powerless. Is it that men at that point, Adeola said something that we also need to check those men at that time. What exactly are they trying to fill? What gap, what vacuum are they actually? Is it every man? Is it that it is all the men, or what percentage of the men have those vacuum in them that they are trying to? Why are they doing it? We want to ask, is it true that all men are, that generalization? All men are polygamists? Because I know that Odogu is not polygamy. Odogu is woman rapper.
Okay. I will start by making these assumptions that all men are capable of cheating.
Okay.
All men are capable of cheating, but it's a choice. It's a principle that makes certain men not do it. As long as a man can have erection, that means there's a tendency he or she can. But the difference is having that belief, that constitution, that vow, that culture, and that principle that this is not what I live for. This is not what I'm going to represent myself for. Because all the things that faces men that make them cheat, almost all men come in contact with such things. Because women approach men just to feel who they are, whether it's through texting, whether it's in the workplace, in the marketplace, whether it's in the estate, everywhere, there are women who are begging you to just sleep with you, not because there's any monetary attachment or any kind of thing. They just want to have that feeling of how you look, having that experience with them. So it is the principle and the moral that is within that man that runs away, shy away, rebuke that person, or even say, this is not who I am. And so some men have infidelity just for the fun of it. We're teaching, I think last month, about sexual eating marriage. And a man said that there's something that Igbo men popularly says, "Ofutu, ofuotu nebuam," that having sex with one person will kill your penis. Having sex with one person will kill your penis. It will not experience the vibe of variety. And a lot of people buy into that. When I was young, I went to my my kinsman meeting. A lady came to report that her husband slept with a woman, with a widow, and gave birth to a child. And the kinsmen, the elderly people in their 80s, 70s, and I shouted at her, "Come on, go out." It's a man's pleasure to have that and to do that. And these are Christians. They are not pagans, they are Christians. So culturally, there's this ideology that is a man's world. We possess that tenacity to do what we like, as long as it's for our pleasure. So whether you like it or not, most don't feel the pain that you are having a pain because of that. Whether they signed the agreement, they did a vow, it's just the nature of men. Some do it because circumstances. I've gone to a burial. If you're from Anambra, they love burial so much that more than anything. And if you are in a club, you have a group of friends, sometimes they travel to go to their burial. They stay 2 days, maybe 3 days. Do you know there was a burial, not once, not twice, where ladies were carried in a Sienna, about 3 or 4 Sienna, as cool or not for us.
Oh.
You look, you choose one for yourself for that night, for that 2 nights. It's being done as offer, as a gift for coming. And when I stopped going, my wife one day said, you don't usually go this thing. I guess, okay, we'll go one. And once she saw the tissue, was, what the hell is happening? I say it's a normal thing for you. That's what we used to say. So there are people who, their infidelity is circumstantial. They don't just go away to find a babe, find a halal, but when they're in the group of friends, they want to have that sense of belonging. That sense that, it's everybody that does it. You are not, you are not that kind reverend father, that pastor-like thing. And there's also some people who it has to be because they are not having the happiness and joy in their relationship. They feel alone. They don't, they've been denied sex for a prolonged time. Their wife seems to make them uncomfortable in the relationship. They are losing their ego. They feel some kind of trauma, and they feel like if somebody gives them any little attention that makes them feel that manly virtue and vitality, they are open to such a relationship. It's not because they don't love their wife any longer. Some men don't cheat because they no longer love their wives. Because even when that comes to an open, they will fight to also see that they are together with their wife and not the other lady, even when the child is involved. So it's not because they don't love their wife. It could also be, some also could be because the wife went for a training. I've seen people who their wife traveled or went to some course because they are not available for 6 months, for 1 year. They've tried all their best, all the prayer, all the internet sex between both couples, but they real the feeling of a human being. And it's not that they want to do it to hurt their partner. It is that psychological and biological feel that they are not experiencing at that, because not everybody can stay so long without having sex, especially when they're already married. They've now been enjoying those experiences. So coming to tell them now they can't have it, even when their faith is strong, somehow they fall into that temptation. And there are people who naturally they want to have one wife, but they want to have 5 girlfriends, having babies for them and all those things. These people design that lifestyle for themselves, and there's nothing you can do about this. And so there may be other reasons that make men cheat, but I will always say it's a choice. It's a choice you don't just take one day. It's a choice you remind yourself every day, because the temptation is out there, just out there. And if you have some money, sorry for you, some money to take more care of them, they can do anything. We'll have people who set trap for you just for you to fall. And they maybe from there start building what they have in mind. And so it's not just for you to be strong about it. You also need to be prayerful about it. Because once you are in a place that you are very weak about your relationship, anything can happen. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. You know that topics like this are not, we don't talk about it openly. We don't talk about it in gatherings. And women don't have some level of understanding as regards some of these things. This exposition, I don't know how many of us are thinking about it. Nedum just said it takes choice. You just need to, infidelity is a choice that you make daily. So you don't want to do it, you remind yourself daily to say, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And as you're doing that, you're saying that to yourself, it's being registered in your subconscious, such that even if they bring it to your nose like this, you will just look at it and go. So with this understanding, Mr. Akinola, how do you think women should approach this situation? You are a man. From the man's perspective, how do you think? I know men don't want us to come and be fighting and shouting and all that. In fact, if you shout so much, they'll go back and sleep with that girl because they believe it will give them peace of mind for the night. How do you think women are supposed to handle this?
So
Knowing
how do I
that,
think?
yes,
How do I think
knowing that
men are supposed
women,
to handle it, right? Or women? Women. Okay, so let me
knowing
come
that from that place of understanding that they do talk about, that men naturally, for psychological and biological needs, men will want to, and he said something hilarious. Your team needs to practice, and you do it to one person all through your life. It's boring. Variety is the spice of life. From this perspective, Adeola, I'm coming to you. But from this perspective, how do you think you want to advise women now? Because there are some ladies here that are bitter, are sad, because their husband are serial cheaters, if there's any grammar like that. And they are dying inside. What do you want to say?
Okay, so I think this question should have gone to Putrillionaire Adeola. And the reason why I say this is simple. Okay, you see, for every behavior that we either allowed or disallowed has its roots, from the culture that powered it. Every behavior, every tradition, every belief that we get to know, we get to like, we get to embrace in life has a culture or tradition that powers them. So one of them is, I was in a gathering a few years ago, and I've been trying to really find out whether that one is real or not. And in our network, we don't just use the word or statement of assumption, just to draw a line. What is that assumption? They say that women are naturally, or rather, men of power, yes. Women are naturally attracted, or men of power are naturally attracted to women that are billionaires. that a woman would like her man, to have power, whether political power or whatever, than they will have their men or their husbands, having money, being wealthy, right? So I was trying to ask them, okay, where did they get this thing from? Is there any empirical figure to support this? Who conducted this? And they will always say, now it has always been like that, right from time immemorial. Our mothers like men in power. So, they would rather, well, and when I look at it also, right, I want to cite one example that I am privy to have the first-hand information about it, right? So there was a former governor in this country, Nigeria, right? Former governor from 1999, a two-term governor. Between him and his wife, the marriage was conducted in the US. All those, strict documents, legal, everything, watertight. There was no place for infidelity in this. I'm aware of it. But meanwhile, the man was once a senator, then became a governor, right? After becoming a governor, something just started springing up, like 2, 3 children thereafter. The wife got to know. He told the wife that this is something that has happened. What are they going to do? He apologized, did everything, right? And the wife gave him his term. I won't say the term here in the open. The man gave him his term that this is what can be done. If this is done, I think I will be okay. So when the man agreed to the term, they now went back to the US, to London, where the marriage was consummated. There was a legal document they signed because the clause was there. If any one of them is found in the act of infidelity, breaking the vow, that the marriage automatically is dissolved, even without any one of them coming to come and lodge the complaint. So in order to forestall that, the two of them went to the UK. They signed another document. It is called, and I think there's a legal document called condonation. Condonation, meaning that the wife condoned the man's infidelity. And they signed that agreement, and the marriage got back to life. Meanwhile, the man has already agreed to the term, not to reject the children. The man accepted the children, but there are some terms that the man really agreed to. Why am I saying this? When they say women are naturally attracted to men in power or men of power, I don't know the statistics. I don't know whether 40% or 70%. It is actually individual. To me, what I want to advise I will give a woman, if I have like a sister, advice I will give is this: empty yourself of any unfounded culture, unfounded tradition. You see, before any woman can agree that, oh, this thing is right, I think I can go for this guy also, something has powered her decision. It's because of a culture, tradition, or belief system that she has allowed herself to be used to, allowed to and that system and that belief system or culture, tradition had actually gone deep into her. She has registered it in her head that, okay, men of power are more influential than men of this, or wealthy men are more influential than this, or what my husband cannot do, I think this man can do it for me. So it's a culture, a belief system that has powered that. So advice is expunge yourself, detox yourself of all those disempowering culture, disempowering belief system that can go that. Then for men also, it's only the commitment. If men also are attracted to that, they always want to do it, just like Mr. Nedum said, that men have the capacity to want to do all those things. I think the only thing that we can do as men is also the commitment. Just like PF defined the love. It's just the commitment that we have. And again, by daily renewing our mind, when we renew our mind daily, I think we can really escape that. Now, the question will now be like this. If I am a man in power, that I have the power, will I expose myself to all those things? Just like we always know, you know, in our circle, that once you get every stage a man gets to, or every stage a woman gets to, don't expose yourself to be vulnerable. Support yourself with structures that can actually, you know, disempower you from going into any excesses that you may want to do. I have a man also, I have one example. That example is the man has that culture in his office. Nobody has any closed office. Everybody's office is open. The chairman, the MD, all the offices open. Let everybody begins to see what everybody is doing. So advice I would give to women is just that for a woman to agree that he wants to do this, for a man to agree that she wants to do this, and for a man to agree that he wants to do this, there is a culture or tradition that empower or that powered that belief system, that powered that culture. And once a culture powers a belief system, it's going to be difficult for us not to yielding to that belief system. Like I always say, every belief system, every culture, every tradition that we allow to dominate us has the input of those people who gave to us. You know, especially some belief system that have lived 100 years, 50 years, 200 years, and being passed on to us. There is a culture, a bias from those people who handed over them onto us. That's what I would say. Let us disempower, let us detoxify our mind of those disempowering cultures, because also all those cultures, they power every of our behavior.
Can I also say something?
Yes,
I believe that every human being has the capacity to stray, right? That's why we all have eyes. I don't think there's anything wrong with being physically attracted to anyone, because we have eyes for a reason. It's what you do with that attraction that is the problem. We see men, good-looking men, and say, oh, he looks nice. We see women who look nice and we acknowledge that they look nice. Now, it's not in the acknowledging or imagining or seeing that they look nice, it's the continual thinking about it. And we all have that capacity. Roku was talking about structure. Jesus, who was meant to be, I personally believe, who is meant to be a superhuman, never went anywhere on his own. He always went with his disciples. At some point, he will leave some and enter another realm with others, which then means that there's no superhuman being. There was a time in my life I classified my friends. I had my good side and I had my bad side. My good side were the friends where I know that if I want anybody to clip my wing, I will go out with my good side. Because all she needed to do was give me the eye I will be feeling it from where I'm about to misbehave, right? And misbehavior could just be anything. I'm just saying it, yeah, once again, it could be anything. But whenever I wanted to be free to do anything that I liked, I went out with my bad sides. Because my bad side, all you need to say is, I want to fly. They will ask you, how high? And we know we all have an internal compass. We all know that this thing we're about to do is, aside the fact that we think that we're hurting other people, but we're actually hurting ourselves. We just don't know yet. So let's just pack that to the side. Let's just follow the fact that, oh, we think we're hurting other people. We know that we're hurting other people. We have that internal compass. That's why you will hide it. That's why you will lie about certain things. You will say, oh, you can't handle my truth. Nigger, you lied. Period. Let's hold on. Let's hold on. Let's hold on to that fact, right? So at the end of the day, everybody has the capacity. What makes it different is discipline. I know somebody who says to me all the time, the fact that I'm not sleeping with anybody else is not even because of my husband, it's because of the value and the principles I have placed upon myself. So there's nothing my husband will ever do that will move me to wanting to defile myself just for anything. Kojo, that's discipline over there, right? That's you creating a principle for yourself that even you, and if that person is anything like me, once I make that kind of declaration, you can take it to the bank. I will, even when I want to do it, myself will stop myself from doing it. That's how strong-willed I am. I don't know about other people. However, even in my strong will, if you break the hedge, they say, the serpent will bite. And once you start to spend time with people like Nedum says and Rocco says, if we start to spend time with people, our guard will start to weaken. It starts to weaken gradually. So it's unfamiliar. Your conscience is still talking to you. You are still saying, okay, I got this. I'm strong. And the Odogu of non-cheaters. Please spend time with those people every day. Spend time with them every week. Spend time with them every month. I say if you have 4 foolish friends, you didn't count well because you are the 5th one, right? You are just as foolish as the friends that you spend time with. Just like if you had 4 wise friends, you didn't count well. You are the 5th. So I think we should stop all this. For me, all this, you did this, you didn't do that, you did it, is a devil, it's a mistake. I think for me, it's just an excuse of your bad behavior and the indiscipline that you choose to have, because it's a choice. You can decide today, regardless of what happens, Adeola, regardless of what happens. Now, when you then say, as a woman, how would I want to carry myself if I find out that my partner, for example, has done something? There's too many layers to immediately say, I will divorce him. There's too many layers. And I always tell people, don't ever leave any relationship immediately out of anger, because you will come back and grovel. And that's why the man will then tell you, do your worst. Because you left at a point where you could have done something, but you didn't. You moved out of anger. You missed a part where he could have been human, because some are not human. Let me be very honest there. Or some are not kind or empathetic or fair. But if you're with a human being, Mr. Nedum is laughing because he understands what I'm saying. If you're with a human being who made a mistake, because sometimes it's like everybody says, it's the right time, the right place, the right music, the right person, the right food, right? It's something. And it's not that the person went out, got up today and said, today, I'm going to cheat on you and break your heart. It doesn't happen like that for some people. Some people is genuine. To then now say, okay, so I'm not saying it's genuine betrayal, but I'm saying it's not out, it's not out of a natural nature to want to do that kind of thing or upset your wife. So let's talk about it then. But if it's someone like a friend of mine or a client of mine who the husband says, well, I'm not going to stop sleeping with people, what are you going to do about it? You either agree to stay with me as I'm sleeping with other women, and maybe I can give you diseases, which is up to you, or you bounce. That choice also, because people who get into infidelity or have challenges, especially women, they want to eat their cake and have it. He has hurt you. You want to stay so you can give him the same and right amount of hurt that he gave to you. How can anybody ever replace the hurt he gave to you to the hurt you want to give to him? But you say, I will not go. I will stay here and frustrate your life as you frustrated my life. Come on. So you've got to choose, right? And I'm not telling you to leave your marriage. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that you've got to make your choice and stop asking opinion. Because when you're asking people for opinion, it's because you know what you want to do. You're just looking for people to corroborate you. If you think that is something that is detrimental to your health, because the truth is, heartbreak might seem, it's almost like your heart is actually breaking. Your heart doesn't break. Your heart is intact. I don't even know where we got that word from. But the feeling is almost commensurate with the words. right? And when you now add to the fact that you now self-internalize it and make it now his problem or her problem, your problem, because we're not just saying it's only men that cheat, then how are you going to live well? And you stay in such pain, you stay in such anger, you stay in such resentment, and you are killing yourself because your organs are suffering, your glands are suffering, your lungs will shut down, your liver will shut down just because you're in a place that is unsafe for you. Your nervous system will be all over the place. So you'll be having pangs of anxiety pangs, nervous breakdown. You'll be sweating for no reason, having terrible dreams. Your kidneys will shut down. For what? And for who? So you've got to make a choice. Nobody, I don't think any therapist can tell you leave your marriage or leave the man that you're with or leave the woman that you're with. But you've got to make a choice. If this thing is hurting my life and I'm not able to sleep well at night, because unforgiveness is you that you're suffering, it's not the other person. As you are feeling it, the other person is not feeling it. In fact, he's probably having the time of his life. What are you going to do about the situation that you're in? Get yourself right first. Get yourself in a place where you're strong. Create a plan around it. Don't just get up and walk away, but create a plan that will, first of all, cocoon you in a place where you are safe and your heart is safe. Because when your heart is safe, your body is safe. It's not the other way around. And then, off the back of that, then do something about it.
Thank you very much, Adeola. We're going to come to the rebuilding part, but there's a question in the chat session. I believe we are all picking and learning. This is a topic that I personally have not even sat down to really process or ask or have the conversation with people. And so I love the fact that I'm hearing the perspectives to it. And I'm going to talk about it, but let's see this question. Somebody said, why do some men use misunderstandings in marriage as an opportunity to go into infidelity? Mr. Nedum, do you want to respond to that question? Why do some men use misunderstandings in marriage as an opportunity? I think that question has been answered. As an opportunity to go into infidelity. Men will say, oh, my wife is stressing me. That's why I decided to go and sleep with another lady or have a girlfriend or something.
Hungering him, he's hungering them, he's hungering them.
Okay. I will start by saying no lady can satisfy a man 100%. In every need, desire, wants that a man needs. There's nobody, no woman on earth that can meet that demand. And that's one thing I want ladies to know and to believe, because sometimes it's not fair when a man cheats. They say, the woman, you're not giving me enough sex, you are not cooking enough, you are not making him the Lord of your life, you are not submissive. They turn everything around as if it's the woman's fault. That's one of the lies I want a woman to understand. There are times you do everything he wants, he needs, but he just wants to do that as a way of life. And that's very unfortunate, because when you go to your clan, your sisters, some pastors, some reverends, your friends, they say, what is it that you are not doing that is complaining? That is a very bad place to keep women, our sisters, our mothers and wives in it. It's a very bad place to put them. Let men accept the rest. But there's always excuse for a wrong behavior, especially if a person doesn't want to accept his shortcomings, his sins.
Okay, he's
I think
frozen.
we lost him to the network. Akinola, do you want to say something about that?
Okay, so what I would say to that is, it's about a personal decision, what you want to do, what you wouldn't do. Like I always know that nobody's opinion is strong enough to make us misbehave, right? Nobody's opinion, nobody's action is strong enough to make us misbehave. When we misbehave, that thing has always been with us. It's more about the content than the container, right? When I'm crushed now, what will come out of my body is blood and water. Oil can never come out of my body. Just like when we crush a car, blood will never come out of a car except if there are people inside that car. So what we want to do is always in us. When as we grow in marriage and in this our practice, a lot of things that we are exposed to. Let me cite one example. When they say a man cannot possibly stay without sex, maybe more than 2 weeks or 1 month, all those assumptions, there are many. Then I want to ask a question. What if your wife is going through, the menopause period that doesn't even appeal to him, to her? He doesn't just want it. What will you do? Would you say because at that particular time you two want to go out? How about 3 months? How about 4 months? Then can a man not have sex in 4 months? Some people will always say that, hey, it will never happen. A man can never do with that. So the fact that, okay, your wife is not available, so the next thing is for you to now go out there. So that was why sometimes ago, I was in a counseling room with a guy, and I was saying, I wish men too can have a kind of moment of menopause so that the blame will not always be on the women. So, it's difficult, really. I won't come here to be boasting as in, oh, no, I'm a superhuman. It can never happen. No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for it not to happen, I will still go back to what I said earlier on, that you have to support yourself with structures, something that will always, make it difficult for you to misbehave in any way. As you grow up, and I'm not going to give like a blanket supporting system, because everybody, your vulnerability, when you're exposed to certain things, you know your triggers. As a man, I know my trigger. I know what can trigger me, when I look at a lady. And just like Trilonia said, that there is nothing wrong in admiring, but ruminating on that admiration, ruminating on it, thinking on it, expanding the memory of what you admire in your head is the issue. So you know what can make you fall. You know what will not make you fall. You know your melting point. Don't go close. Don't go close to it. And if you are growing in power, as a man of power, maybe as a governor, because that thing attracts all manners, right? When you are growing in power, growing in influence, the same way you should grow with people who can call you to order. The same way you should grow, you should support yourself with people who can call the bluff, right? When you are doing something wrong with you. So it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. That is what I would say. Know your vulnerabilities, know what you can expose to, know what can actually damage you, what can bring you down, what can melt you, know it. Then you run away from it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nedum is back. Do you want to add to, so you were saying something in the line of, there will always be excuses. What was that you were saying? Saying that the woman cannot satisfy the man totally. Yeah. Do you want to continue that line of thoughts? Do you want to complete that line of thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just saying it's when somebody has a consent to do whatever he likes. If you see that kind of behavior and you're a woman or you're a lady, just know that you don't have to do anything extra to avoid that man do it. So I've seen a man within my estate who will bring a lady to the house even when the wife is there. So she has kept the wife in a place whereby you cannot do anything. If you like, tell my in-laws, if you like, tell your father, if you like, tell my mother. And this guy is very cunning because he's extremely rich. He does more than generosity to the wife's sisters, the brothers, the family, that When they come to complain, they say, what is your problem? He's a fine man, he's a good man, it's only this small thing. Because they are beneficiary. They don't want to lose that. So even your siblings, your sisters, your mother, they were like, are you a witch? What is it? Look at all the things he has done for us. So you begin to run mad as if you are, some has a great tact about it. So I just say that any person who keep engaging in such an act, there is no excuse. The one that I hate most is the one that is the devil. Nothing pains me like somebody says the devil that came. I hate that statement with all passion. Accept you are wrong. Accept you did something bad. Accept you are hurting a person and yourself, and begin to rebuild how you are going to come out from that trouble or from that pain or from that trauma or from that misbehavior. So men need to begin to own up. Anything that makes you fall, somebody else has been in that situation and did not fall and came up triumphantly. So that resolution, that value, that firm affirmations you give yourself daily is, as I am today, is still everywhere. If you like, show how much you love your wife. They now want to see how that your love, they can experience it. And we are in a world whereby some women will come out boldly. I have sex for you for free. We are saying they are not unfamiliar people, they are familiar people in church. So don't go and hide inside church and say this is the safe place. That may be also the worst place. That may be, especially if you are one that have anointing. Sorry for you. They will come in all manner of counseling and all those just to be close. So let us, like Akinola said, let us build all those systems, all those protective gears, all those things, and have that consciousness in our mind every day that I need to know my values, what I stand for, and fight for it. So I just appeal to a lot of women who are going through where they're making them to see it's their fault. Sometimes and most times, it has nothing to do what you have done or what you have not done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Blessing, I'll leave you to handle the rebuilding trust part. I love the foundation we have laid, and I think that will help the perspective with which women who are going through this part, and some men, because I have a client I'm working with currently. It's the lady that heard, and the guy is the one that is to say, how do we rebuild this trust? What are the things? What are the systems? Akinropo was saying, putting structures in place. I want you to handle that session. Thank you. I yield the mic to you.
Thank you, Mom. A lot has been said. We've learned a lot, and we now understand certain perspective that some issues happen from. And now on rebuilding trust, I want to start with Nedum. Nedum, you coach men to lead with integrity. In cases of infidelity, how can men take accountability in a way that genuinely contributes to rebuilding trust? So what advice would you give to a man who is struggling with admitting their mistakes and vulnerability?
The first thing is acknowledging that you are wrong, acknowledging that you misbehave, acknowledging that you have broken the vow, acknowledging that it's your fault and not your partner. And you have to not give any excuse why you did it or why you try to justify how it happened. You must come to that state of grief that I was wrong. I did something bad. I have broken the trust. So that first stage of acknowledging that this is wrong, because once a person is able to say, I am wrong, I have sinned, I have done something that is abominable, something I shouldn't do, that acceptance is the beginning place. Because once you begin to justify and give excuses, your partner will begin to build bigger and better walls. Because you want to, say that it can happen again. No. So once you can come in that stage And at that stage, that's the first beginning thing. And to be really sorry means also you want to seek support. You want to be patient with your partner, because your partner may not be in the state to absorb the shock at that moment. She might have feelings of anxiety, distrust, traumatized by that experience. If that person loves you so much, depending on who you cheated with, it could be the close friend, it could be the house help. So maybe somebody he really knows and also trusted. The trauma may be very, very devastating for that person. So you must be patient to allow your partner's feelings surface. Because this idea, because I've said sorry, I've told you I'm sorry, let's just turn around and start all over where we have stopped, what we used to enjoy. It doesn't work that way. We see people pressurizing people to say, let it go. The past is the past. Forgive and forget. It doesn't work that way. And so if your partner is still showing some form of resentment, space, gap, allow that emotions to find an expression. Allow that emotion to take the time it needs to come to a point where your partner now wants to discuss. Allow that to happen. The second stage is seeking counseling, therapy, and support. Because both of you just go in and somebody said, just apologize to her, buy a car for her, buy a gift for her. That is how men apologize. Throw cash to her. It will all take away that thing. Of course, if it does, but what for you? How do you ensure that you too need healing? Yes, you too need healing. You too need counseling. You need somebody to hold you accountable with behaviors that will build the system that will help you to not fall in such. And so setting clear expectations for communications and boundaries need to be established not just by you, but also with your partner and perhaps the accountable person in between, which means you must come openly to say, these are the ways I'll be held accountable. If your wife has some things she wants to use it to hold you accountable for a particular time, you must allow it to happen. You mustn't say, I can't do this. Perhaps I need to be checking your phone. Perhaps I will call you some point in time to tell me where you are. If you are going to travel, tell me where you are. If I call you on video call, don't mute it. Don't avoid the call. If you see my call, call immediately. Where are you? Who are you with? I want to talk on video call. There must be a clear sense of accountability from your partner. And you must not, in my own opinion, begin to say, her own is too much. It's not too much because you violated that in the first place. And the other one is, okay, I'll also say the spirituality. You need to also build your faith, because sometimes we might look at therapy and counseling and other kind of support, but we can't take away the place of prayer. We can't take away the place of enablement of the Holy Spirit. We can't take away the place of deliverance if perhaps it's something inside doing that to you. So the spiritual aspect is also important. Perhaps you need to return to God and ask for that divine help and that divine assistance you need. And so for that man need to allow these things to happen, and also to allow the wife to practice self-care. If she needs to look for a group of friends that will support her, relations that will support her at that moment, allow it to be. Because sometimes we want to put her in a position that will say, don't tell anybody, don't let anybody know. This is just between us. Not every lady can take that. They might need external support too. Yes, you might look at it as they are bringing shame to you. I don't know, you caused the shame yourself, but that doesn't mean that the lady will be blowing the trumpet everywhere all the way. No. But if it's also a part of the strategy she needs to recover from and to make you stop what you are doing, it's part of the rebuilding process. And so I will stop here so that others can also contribute, and then we go on from there.
Okay, thank you, Nedum. I want to believe that we'll still have this on the network YouTube channel, because a lot that is being said here, people that are suffering from infidelity, that are struggling on recovering and rebuilding trust, need to hear this. Some people wouldn't want to talk about it, some wouldn't even want to discuss about it, but they need help. So talking about help, I'm coming to you, Trilonia. I want you to answer this for us. You talked about structure. So can you give, for instance, for especially for women, what are some practical day-to-day strategies that couples can adopt to begin to restore emotional intimacy when this happens? Are there any specific behaviors or actions that couples should avoid during this delicate process? Because Nedum talked about patience, that there should be a moment of patience. So to add to this, what are those structures? Is there any strategies for healing, for recovery while this process? Because you said there shouldn't be this hurry, it shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. So while waiting for this process, this healing process and the process of rebuilding, what are those practical strategies? Thank you, ma'am.
I think there are different things. First of all, you need to understand that the relationship is not the same anymore. You're going into a new relationship. Because trust is not built by avoiding betrayal, but by how we rebuild after it happens, right? What are we going to do about it? It's not the same relationship. So you first of all need to look at transparency. Is it the cornerstone of what you want to now build? Like Nedu said, she might say, oh, or he might say, I want to know where you are. I want to check your phone. You must build some kind of accountability and consistently do it, not just one day. And like he also said, you can't say, oh, Eshebe, I've said sorry. No, it's going to be different things for different people. You also need to also rekindle the emotional and physical intimacy, because reconnection is not just about sex. It's fostering safety and emotional intimacy through vulnerable conversations, shared activities, and small gestures of love. Because you want to ask, what happened? I mean, that is meant to be part of the conversation. What was missing in our relationship for us to have strayed, and how can we address it? Those are some of the questions I'm sure your therapist would ask you, and all of that. And you can also sit down and look at it and say, okay, when did it start? I know of somebody who said, my wife refused to give me, forgive my English, but it's a blowjob. And because of that, I decided, I saw a girl who in fact just told me straight, I can do this for you. And then they were at the right place in a hotel. They went on a project out of town, and it eventually happened. And he kept on, and I mean, this was heaven for him, because it was a fantasy. And his wife said, the same mouth that she's using to praise God, she cannot use it to blow his trumpet, right? So, and the man, she's saying what she feels. He's saying what he feels about what he wants. So immediately they're both misaligned on what they want in terms of sex. And there's some religious women like that, even men. So it's not just a woman thing. What are the fantasies? So you even need to be clear whether you even want to go forward. Because this question, if you're able to ask what happened and what do we now want, you might actually be able to tell yourselves the truth that, you know what, I actually cannot give you what you want. And be honest about it, not thinking, where will I start from? After all I've deposited in this man or this woman. Like Nedu says, it's not it's something that you've got to decide that this is what I want to do going forward. And no human being, not just no woman can serve a man, no human being can fulfill any human being's feelings, even if they died trying. So if I decide I want to serve your needs, that they created me to bark like a dog when you ask me to bark like a dog, because of you, I exist. You will still find something that I'm incapable of doing, because I am a human being. And Ebon, you also said something. A lot of times when we marry, we don't actually know why we're marrying, and we don't know who we are. We don't know what we want. So what does that then mean? That means that every day we're changing. Every day we want new likes. Now we have the internet. Porn is all over the place. Some people are dealing with pornography on a high scale. Some women are refusing to give their husband sex as a sense of punishment. Some men are doing the same thing to their wives. I will show you, Pepe. Let me see who will touch you. So there's so much going on that, it's not just a top level conversation. We can't say certain things about what some of the things that are happening, because there's depth to some of the things that are happening. And you can't, because we don't know the depth of it, you can't then give a certain amount to, okay, this is what you should do, or this is what you shouldn't do. But generally, you want to rekindle that. Do things together. I mean, I don't understand how all we do is watch TV. And the truth is, we're actually not together when we're watching television. We're not together. Because your presence is there, but your essence is not there. And that's what a lot of couples do together. You then find out that somebody who likes to go to the beach and walk on the beach now becomes your friend. And now you're going to the beach because it's something that you like. Start to do the same time that you are spending with the person or the people who are giving you your essence. Find that time to spend with your husband. I would also say every human being needs a village. A lot of times, it's just you. A lot of women, if I've spoken to 100 women, 90 of them will tell you, I don't have friends. 90. I don't have friends. And my husband is my everything. That is why there's problem. Because you should have other people that you can talk. It's not everything you can tell your spouse or you want to tell your spouse. It's not everything that they're interested in. So if, for example, I want to gossip about Blessing's hair, is it my husband I will call? I will call her and say, please, which kind of hair the Blessing carry today? Because, and that's even me being as trivial as possible. Right? There's certain conversations also. My husband doesn't believe in therapy. He doesn't believe that therapy works. So if I'm having a conversation about therapy, I will have it with him. I will call Ebon, because Ebon will feed that side of me. So we must have, let's just be very honest, because he cannot, but the things that he does well, I will focus on him. I'll tell you something that happened 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I bought a puppy. And I got the puppy on a Saturday. And by Monday, the puppy died due to the vet and how they treated the puppy. And my dog lover, Mr. Nedum, is here, so I'm sure he understands how that felt. This was a vibrant Labrador I was just getting in 2 days. I couldn't share that conversation with my husband. You know why? Because he doesn't like dogs. He wasn't even at home. He doesn't like, in fact, left to him, that dog is good that the dog died. Right? Now, I'm saying it without any pain, because I know him for who. So who did I speak to about the dog? I spoke to people who I knew were empathetic towards animals. Right? Then I had this conversation with him. He said, you don't sound okay. I said, yes, I don't. He said, what's wrong? I said, what I need right now is empathy about something that you don't have the capacity to give me. That was my conversation with him. He said, what do you mean? I said exactly what I just said. He said, so are you saying that you want me to tell you what you want to hear? I said, yes, that's what I want to hear. But you don't have the capacity to tell me that. You will only tell me what you think you want to tell me. And right now, that's not what I need. So because I'm very self-aware, I know what I need. It's not him that is going to give it to me. So I'm not even going to go and meet him so that he will now pinch me more and then now say the things that I will now say, is this bastard that is doing me? Meanwhile, he was not the one that was doing me before. So what did I do? Like I said, I went to people who I knew would be empathetic towards me. And I told him that I cannot share it with him until the pain is no longer there. And whatever he says will not bother me. Now, what did he do? He started sending me messages every night to say, I hope you feel better right now, right? I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better tomorrow. And he not there praying for me. May God give you the peace, because I know who I have. Right? And I'm self-aware. So that thing that could have become a big problem, I knew where to douse it from because I have my village. This is for both men and women. Men, it's not just about smoking cigar and drinking beer and, talking about money and provision. You also have a personal side of you because they have taught us that they've taught us that it's only our professional side that we should improve. But the personal side of us is much bigger. And I always say that the personal side of us, in fact, I divided it actually into 8 parts. There's the spiritual side of you, there's the self, there's the self, there's the you, and there are 8 pillars that make you, right? There's the spiritual side, there's yourself, there's your body, there's nature, there's physical, there's financial, there's network, there's relationships, and the spiritual. Those 8, all we focus on most times is the financial because it's tangible. All we focus on is who we are so that they can call us Dr., Mrs., Professor, caregiver, leader, chairman, pastor. You're going nowhere with those things. The people that you should then spend time with, you then don't do that. And I've never seen anybody on his deathbed wish that they got more awards. All they wish for is that they spent more time with family. If you do your research everywhere. So let us spend more time looking at the things that are important to. A lot of men are lonely. Their children have carried their mother abroad for Omugo. The father is alone and the father feels slighted. After all I've done for you, the children will say to you and ask you this question: did we ask you? If you asked us what we needed, we wanted your presence. So we need to stop this rat race. Now, every woman is a hustler. Every man is a hustler who is looking after the children. So we're bringing so much into the household. We're scattering the family. And then we have all these challenges. And now you're blaming it on somebody. So I've got too much to say. And once again, Edwin, they don't give me microphone. I can be here for 4 hours. So there's so much that we can do. Rewrite your relationship narrative. Because now this is an opportunity, of course, if you want to stay together, because it's good if you don't stay together and you honestly find out that you cannot satisfy each other's needs as at today. You could have done that yesterday, but the person that I am today is different. And a lot of women, they are doing courses, doing all these things. So men, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything, my brothers and sisters. Then you now stifle the woman and now say it's because the woman is earning too much. That's what. So there's just so much trash. If we need to separate, I'm for separation and eventual divorce if it's necessary, because staying together, there's more damage for the children and to the children than going your separate ways. And it's not a broken marriage. It's just maybe your starter marriage. Maybe you want to look at it that way, right? So rewrite it, redefine your commitment to one another. You've got to decide that I want to stay with you. Do we want this to be exclusive? Do we want what do we want? Focus on your personal growth. I cannot overemphasize this, because the more you know yourself, the more you're able to love yourself, treat yourself well, then that can ricochet to the next person. Because if you treat yourself shabby, you will treat other people shabby. And if for a man to be sleeping with 20, somebody told me her husband slept with 70 women. For a man to sleep with 70 women in the span of 1 year, if for a man to do that, he hates himself. Because just by that act of connecting, just by a kiss, first of all, there's a connection. Then you now enter sex. So you're now depleting yourself. So one day you just be twitching like this. You won't know why you're twitching, because one woman has deposited herself in you. And so you're carrying the essence of 70 people. You must hate yourself for that. So when you love yourself properly, then you'll be able to love someone else. And lastly, build a relationship by choice and not by default, right? By choice. Create rituals of connection. There are too many things to be done, and ignorance is not an excuse. Build a relationship by choice and not by default. That's where I'll stop so that other people can speak.
Thank you very much, Trillionia. That's a lot, and a lot. Okay, without wasting, I want to come to you, Dr. Akinola. Now, rebuilding trust after infidelity often feels overwhelming. But now, infidelity doesn't just affect the couple. it often impacts the entire family. How can parents navigate rebuilding trust while protecting their children from emotional fallout?
Wow,
Thank you, sir.
this is tough. So I will start by saying, especially after the marriage, right? Every choice that the couple wants to make, they must think about the effect of those choices on their children. They must think, because they are not alone again. So going into extramarital affair, every couple must know that it is not a badge of honor, that it depletes the love, the unity, and the emotional connection, and even the spiritual environment of that house is depleted. Is depleted. So now, assuming that it happened, that it has happened, right? How are they going to, building the trust? What is the effect of building the trust on the children? Okay, so now, age-appropriate conversation has to come in this regard. So it is not, that's my own opinion though, right? We've seen that in practice. There's some information that some children are not able to process. There are some information they will be privy to, and they will hate whoever fell into, who is guilty in that, maybe the man, their dad, or the woman, or the wife. They will hate the person for life because they are not able, right, to process how it happened, why it happened, then how they've been able to really build themselves up once again. So what I will now say there is age-appropriate conversation should come in. Then when the children, when they become really of age, maybe like teenage, and it is so obvious that these things can no longer be hidden again from them. I think it's better they just let them they let them know what happened and how everything is being resolved, because there is a level that they can continue to hide it. There is a level they can go, because everything, if I want to take any decision now, the next thing I always think about is, if my children get to know, how would they see about me? What would they think about me? Trilonia was talking about the issue of some children, abandoning their fathers at older age, right? Because the mother has left, then the mother had gone to do omugo. So mothers have they have their way to connect with the children. I don't know how that thing happens, I don't know. But they have their way that children are prone to always believe whatever their mothers say to them. And if a child or children had the information about their daddy's infidelity when their mommy were still together, there is likelihood, if they are not able to process that information very well, there's likelihood they may want to get even. They want to show their dad at later hour. There is this thing if I want to use something just to curb my son of some excesses, in the house, then there is this thing, there is a question I put across to him, that if I am the one, your father, behaving this way to your mother, how would you see me? There was a day he told me that, no, daddy, I would not like you treating my mom like that. So if you don't like me treating my mom like that, so why do you enjoy my wife to raise her voice before you do certain things? He would just look at me and laugh. I said the same thing, like, if you are the one that you are hearing my wife raising her voice, or me raising my voice over my wife, how would you feel? You see that you will look at me that your dad is wicked. So these are the things that we need to know how to prioritize, right? You need to know when to get them involved. And that's why we need to seek, right, the assistance of a professional, in handling this. It's not something that we can really just, gloss over here. Otherwise, we'll be spending like 2, 3, 4 hours, unraveling this. So if anyone is involved in this, because the children are involved, please get a help from a professional. Then again, I want to take a toll from what Trilonia has said and what Mr. Nedum has said, and that one is the aspect of prayer. Infidelity is deeper, is more spiritual than it is in physical, because our bodies are involved. I want every couple to subject themselves to critical reasoning in prayer. Why do we need it, right? Let me cite one example from the Bible. These guys, I'm looking for a word, a grammar to use now. What must not touch his hair is razor blade. Razor blade. So every couple, and especially I'm talking to men now, if there is any man here on this call, please know what razor that must not touch your hair. Know what razor that must not touch your hair. And as a couple, know what razor that must not touch the hair of your marriage. Once you know that, right, then you are able to keep yourself within the control of God, control of the Holy Spirit, and control of your souls. So if you are there, that you are trying to rebuild the trust again, like I said the other time, look for a professional. Then you have the tree of life, how you are going to build yourself back again. You have a starting point. Like Trilonia said, it's a starter pack again. It's a marriage starter again. Old things have passed away. You are not going to use the culture that led you into infidelity to start a new marriage. You are not going to do that. So you are going to rebuild a structure. You are going to rebuild a culture. A new belief system had to come in. A new tradition had to come in. So that is the base. Where are you going? You get it again. You put it there. Then that one is the one that will be in the middle now. The aspect there is, what must you be doing to achieve that? And that is why whatever the plan, whatever the arrangement, right, that the woman or the person who is hot in that marriage gives, you must be able to sacrifice. You must be able to give that. Like the example I gave of a former governor, two-time governor, who did that. The condition the woman set, right, were so strong. But if the man does not want to forfeit everything he has worked for, his sagacity politically, if he doesn't want to lose them in UK court of law for infidelity, he agreed to that. So everyone that is involved in this, if you are the one who is guilty, you must be ready to agree with the terms of the hurting partner, so that the healing can permanently take place. Then again, what I want to say here is, now you have to change your location. Changing location is not physical location. You are changing your environment, not physical environment. It has to do with your head. It has to do with people around you. Who are those people that you were working with before? The same way I detached myself from that my uncle, a stark native man who gave me all manner, all sorts, right? So you need to take yourself of all those ones. Then I round off with this. Building a trust after infidelity, it's not easy. It takes a lot for some people to heal. Healing is not static. It may take some people 10 years, 20 years to even heal. So you must be ready to be patient with the hurting partner if you are truly committed to building another trust, to building a trust after what happened. Thank you.
You're muted, Blessing.
Thank you so much. We've had it's been rich responses that we've had here. So, Mama, I yield the floor to you, please. Thank you very much to all our guests.
Thank you very much, Blessing. That was a beautiful one. Thank you, Akinropo, Adeola, and Mr. Nedum. Such a beautiful and beautiful conversation, and so much to learn. I love how we brought the ship to sail on this rebuilding, this topic of rebuilding, and a lot has been said. And I'm going to hold on to Mr. Akinropo's closing remark, talking about seeking professional help. Seeking professional help. And talking about seeking professional help, okay, I see a question here. Please talk about concession on sex. If the woman dictates on when she is interested, it could push the man to infidelity. Oh, well, yeah. We just said it that nothing is big enough to make us do. It's just by choice. It's having conversation with a woman. I think it was Akinropo saying something about, no, I think it was Nedum saying something about who can you talk to? Who is the authority over you? What system and structure are you putting in place? And yeah, talking about seeking professional help, this will also help you, where you have you, the woman, and the coach or practitioner, family life practitioner, who will walk you through, talk you through. Then that woman will be able to say what happened, because we have established a lot of facts this evening saying that what the behavior anybody is putting up now, it's not just happening now, it's an overtime thing. And so this is what the practitioner or marriage coach or marriage counselor will help you do, help you establish where this is coming from and how to resolve or put an end to, or how to handle whatever situation you guys will take to them. And with this, we come to the end of
Dr. Ebu, so sorry.
Sir?
It could even
No
be
problem.
that maybe the man is the one who is hyper. Maybe the man is even hyper. So the man, it's possible the man
The
needs a
woman
sex
decides to
therapy.
put timetable to it.
Maybe the man is hyper.
Ooh, that's funny. Might not be funny to.
So our prayer is no, but we're already inside. What do you then do?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sometimes the answer to your prayer is no, but you're already there. What do you do?
Sometimes the answer to our prayer is a no. Hmm, indeed. Indeed. Thank you very much, Adeola, for that. And thank you, Mr. Akinropo. Thank you, Mr. Nedum, for that beautiful session with you. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for coming. For everyone in the room, thank you. This is the last family meeting for the year. See you guys in January. But before we round up, we talked about seeking professional help. And these people here are professionals. And you can attest to it with the way they responded to all the questions. So I'm going to say that Adeola, Mr. Nedum, Mr. Akinropo, in 1 minute, I want you to pitch kind of what do you have and how can people reach you? Let's start with the woman in the room. What you
This is part of
how
the
can they reach you? It's part of the conditioning that we are doing.
conditioning. So yes, so I my name is Adeola Kingsley James, and you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, same name, you can find me on YouTube, same name. I have some interesting packages and courses that I have and I'm releasing, and I'm about to also release a new book titled The Transformed You, and I'm very excited about that. So yes, join me also for 30 days in December. I'm going to show up live every day and share some nuggets and some things that's actionable steps that you can do. And in January, I'm doing 21 days of changing your habit, because if you change your habit, you will change your life. That's what I'll say. And thank you very much. I just want to add one last thing, that you should look at infidelity as, or if it happens, what if this crisis is an opportunity for new connection? You know, it can either be a death of a relationship or its rebirth. So healing requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to transform pain into understanding. And the quality of our relationships will determine the quality of our lives. So we must build relationships that are strong, honorable, and loving so that we can have better quality of our life.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Adeola. Guys, you can follow Adeola. That's Adeola's Instagram handle. And just like she said, she has different videos on her YouTube. You might want to learn from that. And it would be nice if you can join her. Please reach out to her privately on Instagram, and she'll respond. Thank you very much, Adeola. I'm Akinropo.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ebun and the entire crew. My name is Akinropo Akinola. Basically, what I do is I help, adults script empowering culture, that is usable for them to raise the children they are leading. Because we discovered that earliest of my practice, what I did more was to begin to talk to parents. Oh, this is not good. To talk to fathers. But sooner I discovered that the challenge is not even with the children. It's not even with the parents themselves, but with the culture that seeded them. Like I submitted earlier on, every behavior, every of our attitude, that they are so strong because there are believing culture, traditions that powered them. And it's so strong. So until we change that culture to empowering ones, we won't be able to deliver the best for these children. We won't be able to bring even the best out of them. So that is what I do. We deal with adults, parents, fathers. We deal with them first. Then later, we now let them know how they're going to get the best out of their children. In doing this, I've had 3 materials so far. The first one, Daddy, Where Are You? Written in 2018. That one came up as a result of the altercation, mild altercation that happened between my son and my wife. And that book came out. Then 2019, Mommy No Excuses. Then last year, Pathway to Fatherhood. Then I want to round off by saying this, corroborating what Trillionaire said. Every challenge that I have encountered in my life had opened doors to new relationship with me, because the Bible says that when you fail in the day of adversity, your strength is little. So at that particular time that you have challenges, your strengths are little, your strong relationships are little, effective, positive relationships are little. So God is opening you to that this is the time for you to move to a bigger relationship that will be able to solve whatever challenge that you have. So if you are there on this call and you are battling with any of this, not to worry. It is not the moment to have a self-pity or to blame yourself. No, don't do that. Just open yourself up for a bigger, effective relationship that will help you to subdue those challenges. Thank you. I'm on Facebook as Akinropo Akinola, Instagram, Akinropo Akinola, on X, Akinropo Akinola. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akinropo. Guys, you can reach out to Mr. Akinropo and you will get support. Mr. Nedum.
Okay, thank you. You can reach out to us at Start Your Marriage Right Academy, IG, Facebook, or YouTube. My partner in bliss is Nwobi, the Queen of Happiness. And to address especially the issue we have treated today, we have 2 programs that address such. Get Your Power Back, the group of Personalized, where you are given a structure, a system, how to come back fully alive, be in charge of your life, and know the essence and your being, especially for ladies who think that they've been left out of this world either by their partner or by the system they once trust or believed in. Get Your Power Back is for you, so you can activate that. And then we also have the marital bliss activation. So for those who have think they don't have any love in between themselves, they've not separated, they are not divorced, there is no infidelity, but
Thank you very much, Mr. Nedum. I also know that, Ade, you want to say something?
No, I'm done.
Adeola, you're muted.
I said, I have a gift for you. I painted this whilst we were talking. Ebon and Blessing.
Aww.
This is for you.
Thank you. Please scan it and send it to me. Thank you very much, Adeola. That's beautiful. I was also going to say that I know that Dima and Nedum Nwobi have a product they are selling right now. Now them go they rush you. This is for parents who have children in the teenage. It's just to help groom your children in preparation for all this feeling that you're having. By the time you groom your children ahead, it will help them. So please reach out to Dima Nwobi and Nedum Nwobi on their handle. Blessing is sharing the handles. And for the family center, we have the marital checkup. The marital checkup is an assessment, and you'll be assigned to professional counselors that will help you. So you're not sure of what's happening, you're not sure where you are in your marriage. Marital checkup is an assessment that will help you. And after taking the assessment, you'll be assigned to counselors that will help you on this. So I want you, if you're interested in, you know how we go, it's end of the year now, everybody is doing their health checkup, body checkup, and all that. But we don't pay attention to some of those details that give adverse effects on our body. Marital checkup is one thing you want to invest in, and it is 100,000 naira. If you're coming from 100,000 naira is the subsidized rate because you're attending family meeting. So if you're interested, please reach out. Admin, please drop the number. Just let us know. Just say family meeting and you will be given a discount. Reach out to the admin. Admin, please drop the phone number so that people can reach out. Thank you very much, everyone. And with this, we come to the end of family meeting for 2024. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Thank you, everyone. Love you. See you in January. We are coming with big bangs in 2025. Bye bye.